6:25 a.m. July 22nd, 2025. Dimming down the lighting, we can already see the activity has been taking place already this morning, going all the way across. We are going to go ahead and once again walk over to our local little park here and attempt to get another viewing of our light source, and that, well, I'm just going to say reflective magnifier or lens or whatever this object is. And then I want to go just a little bit further beyond that. Now we are having, once again, earlier this morning I looked out and the skies just had that very, very dirty looking appearance to it. Okay? We need to expose some of this nonsense. Yeah. And whether or not we'll be able to get anything, I don't know at this given point in time. But once again, can we see this right here? Yeah, this is all chemtrail activity. Okay. And, oh, in case you want to see, yeah, our little memorial park here. Okay, so I got a little bit of a rant that I want to kick off as well. And that's over this group of women in Texas. And I don't care if they are mothers of victims from flooding. Okay? Look at this back here. So whether or not we'll be able to get any kind of decent visibility, I don't know. But anyways, so we got this group of women in Texas that are basically trying to start up a protest against Donald Trump for his defunding of the National Weather Service, NOAA, and FEMA. Okay? I believe there should be a full-fledged investigation into these women as to who has orchestrated the narratives that they're trying to push. Because we should understand that the National Weather Forecast and NOAA are part of the players within all this weather warfare that's been taking place in our country. Okay? Donald Trump hasn't really come out and, addressed the chemtrailing or whatever. But I do believe that this is his way of addressing the situation through the defunding. Now, there is another reason for defunding FEMA beyond all their failures. If you understand what happens if a full-fledged national emergency takes place and what happens to the powers of the president. Okay? This is all preparations for what is to come. If you understand the realities of all this. And I believe that I understand a lot. Now, right up here, we can see a nice line right there. And once again, this is activities, and I showed this activity over and over and over and have for years. Over what's been taking place in the skies over this state of Michigan, which, once again, for 25 years, since the year 2000, supposedly some ban was put into place against cloud seeding, geoengineering, or whatever in the skies over this state of Michigan. Okay? Now then, once again, I don't know if we're going to be able to see anything because, well, kind of uncanny how whenever I expose things, well, they start getting covered up or they just flat out vanish. Much like many of these so-called jet aircraft that mysteriously vanish within my recordings. Now I want to state one other thing. Have you ever looked at the FEMA handbook? Have you ever looked at the original National Firefighters Guidebook? You know, there's a lot of different material out there for emergency services, which ironically include factors of, well, invasion, what to do in the event of a so-called extraterrestrial invasion. Yeah. I don't know if these handbooks still have these little clauses or directions, instructions included anymore, but it's just a side note. And yeah, I am out here just a little bit early in the attempts of, recording this or that or whatever might appear. And I guess I will go ahead and pause this and see if we do happen to get a halfway decent observation of this so-called sun, whatever, Anymore, I got to take any narrative with a grain of salt because of the comparisons of certain narratives and my content and what I show through my observational recordings. All right, let's go ahead and, if we can, possibly zoom in on this back here because we have, what appears as some wave action within these clouds back here. Yeah, I don't think it's going to pick up right now. But seriously, I believe that these women, this group of women, need to be investigated as to who rallied them together over this nonsense that they're trying to push in regards to this defunding of these agencies. Because, as far as I'm concerned, oh yeah, it's going to lead back to the Democrats. And I don't want to play politics in this, but all right. So let's go ahead and go on back here. And, this is not at all what I am seeing visually. I have not adjusted the lighting. This is appearing much darker. And okay, yeah. And even the color of the so-called sunrise here, or the sun itself, is off. because it's showing up white in my screen. And it's like a glowing blood red color. Okay, so, and as far as I'm concerned, this is artificial intelligence through my phone. And, you know, this incorporation of artificial intelligence within the educational systems now, wow. We're talking future generations of completely brain dead humans, okay? I mean, now they're trying to come up with school regulations over use of AI in the classroom, okay? And what are they concerned about? Oh, well, everything's all good until it comes down to mathematics, and well, we still want students to show their work. Well, it's already been proven most students can't even read anymore. They can't even write in cursive. And they want this artificial nonsense to think more and more for people, to control more and more. I am adamantly against artificial intelligence and all those that are behind it, that sponsor it, that fund it, that invest into it. You're all a bunch of nut jobs. Let's see. Okay, now this ball of light once again. I'm dimming this down all the way, and it's appearing white in the screen, whereas visually it is, well, now it has gone from a blood red into a burnt orange, but a very bright burnt orange, and not this white whatever that's showing up on my screen. I'm going to pause it. Now, if you don't like my narratives, you know what? All I can state is this is what you get through my observations. And I'm not afraid to state exactly what I feel and my opinionated thoughts, and so on and so on. I've been visiting quite a few different channels, not really watching content, because I get enough through just the thumbnails and titles. And what am I seeing? Well, that's just it. I'm just seeing and not hearing anything. Why? Are people afraid to speak out? You know, and this is the stuff that matters. Does the Epstein files really matter? You know? Yeah, I feel bad for the loss of life through this manipulated weather warfare that's been kicking off. But you know what? Get your freaking facts straight, women. You know, and I'm so tired of hearing from women today. And that might sound sexist and you know, discriminatory. I've lived a long life. I know what I'm talking about, and I know what pisses me off. And the more that women open their mouths, the more chaos and confusion takes place thereafter. I know I'm not demonizing women, because men are just as guilty. But once again, I've lived a long life, and I've seen, especially what female politicians have done to the once known nuclear family. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the destroyer of families. Okay? Yeah, all this nonsensical orchestration that we went through with COVID. Yeah, what did that do? It destroyed families that much more. It destroyed the unity of people that much more. And AI is going to continue to do that. And then I see, this clip on our local news this morning showing a classroom of kids sitting there at their desk, no paper, no pen, just computers. And guess what? They all were wearing headphones. Headphones. Let's go back to that. What was it called? The GATE program? The programming of children, such as what I went through when I was a kid. Well, now it's gone up that much more. It's pathetic. This whole world has gone to hell in a handbasket, but you know what? It always has been. And I'm not afraid to say nothing anymore. Why? Because I have faith in myself. I believe in me. And that's all there is. I'm going to pause this momentarily. Yeah, it looks like they're definitely trying to cover this up. And I'm seeing evidences of foul play already this morning. The manufacturing and manipulation of everything. And if this is something that's artificial next to this greater light, that not only myself but others have recorded, now we're talking NASA as well as the military and possibly, this newly formed military branch known as Space Force. Yeah. I'm going to pause it, wait a couple of minutes, and see what should happen to transpire from here. Oh, okay, and furthermore, let's just go ahead and back off for a moment while we are waiting to see what we might be able to see. Looking around, all right, where's all the clouds? Oh, we got a little bit here, but then as we spin around, and then we do have, a little bit of this and that over here, which is already dissipating. Oh, well, you could just see the stuff that much better because of the light. Okay, whatever. Yeah, okay. It looks like we might have us and I'm zoomed in all the way. And again, the lighting is dimmed. And you think I want to be out here this early in the morning recording this stuff? No. But I've been up since, 3:33 this morning? Yeah, so, of course, a little bit of an attitude, right? Alright, we gotta pause it. Alright, so yeah, just showing just that That much more of what's kicking right now. Dimming the lighting just a little bit. But you can see it's getting covered up, but maybe it'll jump above the cloud to where we can get just a little better viewing. I don't know. If anything, you know, we got us a cool sunrise. Yeah, the sun never rises. Same with the moon. At least according to, you know, what we've been taught, programmed, what have you. Okay, so we now are getting at the pop above the cloud here, and yeah, no, it's got to be in there someplace or around the vicinity thereof. Oh, and yeah. So if we don't catch it this morning, well, it should be quite visible over the next few days because, well, hey, we're supposed to have one heck of an increase in heat, right? And of course, you know, those feel like indexes or feels like temperatures, you know, once again, this is a narrative that really started becoming that much more stated just in recent years, especially here in Michigan, as that overhead activity has increased significantly. And this is understandable through the history of my channel. Now look at how big this thing is all of a sudden starting to appear. You know, maybe they already orchestrated it to conjoin sooner than what I had anticipated or expected. Yeah, we're already, what, 20 some minutes into this. Because I've been staring at this, I can't even see the timer on my screen as to the length of duration of this recording so far. And again, yeah, so this, I guess this is a little bit closer to the reality of what I am seeing now. As far as coloration wise and all that. But you know, you zoom in and it just dims down. everything gets darker on its own accord, and then I can go ahead and dim it down just a little bit more. Yeah, I think we have just a little bit too much interference this morning to get a good recording, because after all, even the lens flare is barely apparent at this given point. So that means that there's a lot more filtration in the sky than what it even appears. The lens flare is evidence of that. Okay, now this is a very strange observation, because now this ball of light, visually to my eyes, it is appearing as it was at the beginning of this recording, white with like a red ring around it. But in the screen, well, it's got this white yellow coloration. And yeah, I'm thinking we're not going to see this. Yeah, at least I got my little 2 cents worth in, right? 2 cents that's not worth even mentioning anymore, because, well, we just don't print or mint the penny. Yeah, just too much interference this morning. And you know, with this onset of artificial intelligence, which it's monitoring and surveilling, I'll just say all data out there. Oh, there's artificial intelligence manipulation that's involved within this weather warfare, if you will. Huh. Trying to be one step ahead of the game, right? I don't know. Yeah, now I'm just using, my imagination. And I will clarify that by stating, just imaginative thoughts right now. Because sometimes you have to use that in order to connect the dots. And once again, the lens flare, for as bright as what this is getting, the lens flare is not. Heavy filtration to block out, I'm just going to say reflector, although, more likely it's some kind of a lens. In which, of course, that's just go ahead and look into that, if you will. Because of solar manipulations or whatever they want to call it. All these different terms and definitions, to me, is just nonsense. Just like, years ago when they said, oh, well, we've got so many new clouds that we need to name them and provide new definitions, and, all the BS narratives. Well, I'll do what I can to capture this at some other given point, but we're not, I don't know. But these things should happen to be revealed during my reviewing of this, I'll make mention in the description, but otherwise it's gone on long enough. I've stated what I've had to state. Boy, this just doesn't look all kind of goofy now. Not even spherical. Well, I don't know if we're able to capture what's happening here, but this thing is actually the yeah. It's probably not picking it up, but this thing is flickering. Okay, and just looks wrong. All right, I'm getting tired of this. It's gone on long enough. I'm going to go ahead and end it. You know, if you want to post a comment or whatever, fine. I don't care. Doesn't really matter to me anymore what anybody has to say, their opinions or whatever. You know, and I would give you further reasons for that, but basically, I have nobody in my life, so why should I feel accountable for what I have to say? Because, oh no, does anybody really care what I have to say? That's why I don't have a social life other than this, through this pathetic platform. Because people stop caring about what I had to say. And then they started listening to other people's lies about me and who and what I am. Think I want anything to do with people like that? No, I want people that are of a like-minded mindset, interested in the same topics that I am, because they have been awakened to many realities. Would you like an example? I'll provide one in the description below. Oh, I guess I gotta move because some idiot's coming down the Ann Urban here. Right here. Yep. Oh, yeah, okay. This is our, I think that's our nosy fire marshal or whatever. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, don't quote me on that. Many years back, I had a bonfire kicking off north of town here, and the fire marshal came up flipping out, thinking that there was some kind of major forest fire, whereas what they were seeing was the reflection of the fire from a camper that was parked nearby the fire. So it, intensified an illusion. Okay? Okay? All right, we'll leave it at that. Enough seen. No, enough heard and not seen. Oh well, that happens. Have a great one, or try to.